and then maybe the rest of folks will continue to trickle in. Okay, so thanks everyone for coming. This is kind of a new thing for Commute Seattle to bring all of you with us today. We're really excited. Thank you for all of your coordination and time and effort that went into coming to today and preparing PowerPoint slides and materials and all of that. Thanks so much, and we're going to kind of get kicked up and going. So I just want to update everyone and tell you a bit about who Commute Seattle is and what we're up to these days. So as you probably know, Commute Seattle is a transportation management association, and we have funding from a number of organizations around the city: Downtown Seattle Association, King County Metro, Sound Transit, City of Seattle, and I think I hit them all. But our mission is to foster mobility partnerships and services to keep Seattle moving and thriving for all. And we envision a more livable and thriving environment in downtown and Seattle abroad. And we have a commitment to smart mobility and smart transportation options around the city. So we are supervised by the Downtown Transportation Alliance. And through that leadership, we're able to speak with strong businesses' voices, as well as improving the public good for all of you that participate in Seattle and live and play and work here in the city. So for more information about what Commute Seattle does and our programs, just a show of hands for all of the lovely Commute Seattle staff around the room today. Please connect with each of them. They have amazing programs and amazing services. So if you have more questions, please circulate to them. So topics you'll hear about today are transit passes, rideshare, commuter benefits, free-floating mobility, bike amenities, and commute management platforms. And the whole purpose of today is to foster partnerships, provide an opportunity for companies to have a face-to-face with mobility providers and service providers, and ignite companies and employee transportation coordinators with ideas about how they can improve their commuter benefit programs and offerings that they have at their company. And ultimately, we want to reduce congestion and reduce losses vehicles that are traveling around. So today is not only educational, but action-oriented. We all know that there has been an amazing amount of change happening in the city of Seattle, as well as elsewhere around the Puget Sound region. We have a number of capital projects going on, such as the Main Lake opening in 2021 and Eastside Federal Way in 2023 and 2024. As you probably know, the viaduct is coming down on January 11th, and so things are going to be difficult. Things are going to be congested, and we're going to have to find a new way to get around the city and a new way to get in and out of the city as well. So today is to kind of ignite those ideas, learn a little bit about commute management platforms and programs, and how you can better those for your employee and business. So over here to Makes a Difference, we know and we've seen a great increase in the amount of jobs and people coming to Seattle, about 60,000 new jobs since 2010 and counting. But we saw a great decrease in the drive alone rate, and in 2017 we hit our goal of 25%. So 1 in 4 commuters is driving to work. That means 3 in 4 are taking transportation options. They're riding the bus, they're taking the subway train, they're carpooling. They're using those amazing options that are all around the room today to achieve a better drive alone rate and to make Seattle a great place. So why should you care? Policies benefit your bottom line. Employee retention and talent recruitment. Seattle market is competitive. We want to be able to recruit folks that are there to achieve your greater good and greater mission. You want to minimize the administrative burden and financial costs. Knowledge is power. Learning about these mobility options will give you confidence when you're speaking about them and encourage more folks to use them when you're talking about your commuter benefits programs. You're a commuter too. You all get to work every day. These will benefit you and your commute to work too. Finally, future production companies, employees, or employers with over 100 employees have a slew of regulatory compliance and goals and things that they achieve as per kind of the City of Seattle and WashDOT's compliance laws. So all of those compiled together and make up what we call future production. So if you'd like to learn more about that, we have many specialists over there. And the greatness is that we have all of these people in the room today. A lot of them came from far away. Some of them are in the Seattle market. So please thank them for being here. We appreciate all of you and all of your efforts and the services that you provide around the city. new legislation that got passed on October 1st. So Seattle City Council passed legislation that requires businesses with 20 or more employees to provide employees the opportunity to use pre-tax deductions for commuting expenses, commonly known as pre-tax commuter benefits. We have an in-house specialist, Nick Abel, in the back there, who is our pre-tax specialist, who can inform you and educate you on the new policy and what this means for your company, as well as move you into the many benefits. But to get rolling with vendors, I'd like to welcome Alice to the table today to talk about how their service and how their products can help maximize and streamline those pre-tax commuter benefits.
Hi everyone, my name is Paul with Alice, based in Brooklyn, New York. I happen to live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Right, so commuter benefits. So here's the sort of the synopsis of Alice. Alice automates pre-tax spending. So under the hood of Alice is 3 different kinds of CRA. First one. 3 types of FSA, HFA, HRA, and Cobra. What we are doing is aiming at this experience here. So as what an employee does is connects their card, that's a credit card, debit card, big card, what have you. They go out and spend on things in life. When Alice software sees that transaction, we're doing everything under the hood from a compliance perspective, so that in that employee's next paycheck is going out by the amount, the sort of taxable income by the amount they spend. So in this particular example, spend $121. You need $51.73 back on your next paycheck. Pretty cool, right? About 85% of our customers are folks that traditional benefits providers maybe sort of thought were unenrolled population. So we work a lot with hourly workers, restaurant workers, hospitality workers, security guards, people who have variable schedules. So think about the way commuter product works. You're electing so much money off of your paycheck, it's going on to a card, you're buying that amount in advance. Doing some changes in your life, right? Like football game, you have to like go grab some work, you have broken cars, decide to like commute for kids. Those traditional cars kind of fall down. Whereas Alice is letting you sort of go about your life, spend on whether it's sort of text. The enrollment process with Alice is pretty straightforward. It's like wobbly thing we're doing here. So you're connecting any card, your credit and debit prepaid card. You're taking a picture of your insurance card. Again, Alice is an HSA and various types of FSNs as well. You spend as usual your paycheck goes out. We tend to not talk about some acronym accounts, tend to not talk about benefits. We tend to talk about things that you do. So when I'm in a meeting, folks, I'll say, so you wear eyeglasses. Right? You're going to buy eyeglasses next year, probably. You have contact lenses. You buy those contact lenses on a monthly basis. Our software can find those things and make them pre-tax in the next paycheck. There are 10 categories right here of sort of things that you can spend pre-tax on. Most relevant, I think, to this conversation is mass transit, parking, and soon-to-be rideshare. The sort of when you like walk into a restaurant, or there's some sold into a restaurant before. Yeah, you oftentimes get like 30 seconds, right? You like take like a founder chef or like stuff like this. I don't have time for this. I kind of walk in and I'm like, hey, listen, like, there's people who work here, right? And they have eyes and teeth, some of them have children, and they like paid money to work at it, and some of the parks here. And right, okay, cool. We aggregate those expenses into a tax unit for them. Basically, like you're posting kind of free raise. You feel good about yourself, like this is wonderful. What we typically are aiming for is about $1 net raise a year. So that works about 2,000. The average person working on 2,000 hours a year. $2,000 back in your paycheck, $1 an hour raise back. You as an employer should care because it's a tax shield for you. So every dollar spent by your employees through tax is a dollar that you're not paying zero tax on, and state unemployment. So low margin businesses that typically have not been able to sort of spend money in advance on something that had uncertainty, like ours, because our business model is 100% performance driven. So we have no setup fees, no per employee per month charges. Our objective is to split that payable tax savings with the employer. So at some level, I'm sort of having a free bag of money conversation. Like, hey, people are spending money on these things, right? It's people. And those are pre-tax eligible, right? It's a free bag of money for them. It's a free bag of money for you. And I'll do all the administrative work, do all the enrollment work, do all the customer support, the pre-enrollment questions. Right? But people have questions all the time. Hey, I'm moving. I'm changing my route, spending a different amount of money on transportation. What's that mean? Hey, I'm now taking a different form of transportation. Is this eligible, right? Like, I take a lot of rideshares. When is that going to be right? We're there sort of answering all those questions. That's just the way we do it.
So if you have questions, feel free to jot them down and we can save it for calls after questions. Next up, we have transit passes. And 3 out of 4 Seattle commute production, those employers in Seattle with over 100 employees, offer transit benefits in the form of work and business programs. And we'd like to welcome Commute Seattle's Balanced Work and Business Program to the floor and talk about how they can help benefit your bottom line and improve the commuter benefits.
Thank you. My name is Mercedes Jerby. I'm a business specialist here at Commute Seattle. And as you know, this is tech specialist at Commute Seattle. And we help connect businesses to work benefit. So you might be familiar with Pogo. It's our regional transit pass, and it came together through 7 different transit agencies to create a comprehensive pass that gets on all various transit modes, whether you're taking the bus, light rail, commuter sounder train, or even the ferry over the Bay Bridge. That can be all used on this one product. And it's highly demanded by people who are coming into Seattle. As you know, it's quite difficult to get into Seattle, and we find that one of the most popular ways to get downtown is through transit. So a lot of employees are demanding this as a benefit. So there are a couple of different options that businesses can choose from. We have 2 different business programs. One here you see is called Work a Choice. Work a Choice is a monthly program. It's flexible. You can choose to cover your transit riders. You can subsidize anywhere from 0 to 100%. And it's on a month-to-month basis, so it's flexible to what your budget is and what you need. You can set the rules and you can start at any time. Now, other businesses that are looking to get a little more competitive and offer something that's really high-end, there's Work a Passport. Work a Passport is great. It's an annual card that requires little to no administrative upkeep. It's deeply discounted. So you are able to access what could be anywhere from $99 to $189 retail pass for roughly $50 a month. You can access it across the region on 6 different transit agency services, and added perks include 100% subsidy on Rideshare by the 4 counties, as well as 8 guaranteed ride homes. You know, we always have those employees who are a little hesitant to try out their benefit, but the guaranteed ride home program helps assure them that if they're stuck, they miss their last bus, they can get home, which offers that nice security. And what the main reasons we find that people enroll in either program, especially in Work a Passport, is like providing your employees more options to get downtown. There are and you're helping recruit and retain the top talent. This is a highly demanded benefit when it comes to health services as well as technology firms, especially those that are just about to get started. And also with Orbit Passport, you're often meeting your bottom line. Providing a parking subsidy, and then you switch over to Orbit Passport, you're often finding that more people are taking transit, and you're putting less money towards those parking stations. So, and I think we all know how expensive those can be down here. So it definitely helps meet the bottom line. What's another great thing about both of these programs is they can be combined with pre-tax commuter benefits. I'll let Nick take over. All right.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone after the beginning of this presentation is a little bit familiar with pre-tax, but really all it is allowing employees the opportunity to use deductions for taxes from their paycheck to pay for qualified commuting expenses such as the card, parking, etc. By doing this, they reduce their taxable income, save money in taxes that they otherwise would be paying. What's really great about that is that your business will actually save money as well. They'll be saving about 7.65 in payroll taxes, which when you're a large CTR affected business per employee, can add up pretty quickly. There's a lot of great third-party benefit administrators that can really help you with these benefits as well as other benefits, but there's also the option of providing pre-tax with existing corporate business accounts. So both the accounts that Mercedes just talked about, both Orca Business Choice and Orca Business Passport, can be combined with pre-tax deductions, or case of Orca Choice can be purely based off pre-tax deductions. You don't actually have to subsidize at all. So for even the businesses that maybe have a very tight budget and can't afford to pay for subsidies, still want to allow their employees to save money on expenses. That's a great option. And there was recently a city ordinance passed that was based off the city ordinances that passed in New York, DC, San Francisco, actually Bay Area County, that requires businesses with 20 or more employees to provide pre-tax benefits as an option. Obviously, we have a lot of CTR affected companies in here, so if you aren't already offering subsidized pre-tax benefits, sort of January 2020, that will be required. That being said, in Seattle has an entire team dedicated to helping businesses set up for benefits and pre-tax benefits, and we're here to support you in choosing the right either in-house or out-house provider.
So you may have heard Mercedes mention that with Orca Passport, you get 100% Rideshare for several different transit providers around the Puget Sound region. And King County Metro is in the room today to tell us about how their program is not only the largest in the nation, but is providing new fleets of vehicles, awesome rides, and is working together with many companies around the city of Seattle.
Hi, my name is Julia County. I'm with King County Metro. And so we are celebrating our 40th anniversary. We started back in 1979 with 21 vans, and today we have 1,600 vans. We actually have 800 vans coming into the Seattle area. So that's really good for your employees to know that they could join an existing van or they could start a new van. The vanpool program, it's a group of 5 commuters. So basically you and 4 other people who would get a vanpool. Each group needs like a driver. So out of the 5, you need at least 2 drivers. We encourage as many drivers as possible. The drivers keep the van at their house. The group decides what the operating rules are going to be, your hours, where you're going to meet to make it an easy ride to work. And then I wanted to mention we have commutes for as little as a 20-mile round trip commute. So we have people, really the target market for our audience is we encourage taking transit. We love transit, but when transit doesn't work for you, vanpool is a great option. So vanpool, the unique thing about vanpool is like a one-seat ride. So we have found out that going from Pogo to downtown Seattle is difficult. So if you're in a vanpool, it's going to be 30 commuter, so that's one option. We also have groups that are long distance. We have a group that comes from Ellensburg to Seattle, horrible commute, but they've been doing it for years. So usually think we don't have that commute. But our maximum commute is 45 miles. So we go from 20 to 200, but most people are actually commuting from Issaquah to Seattle or Boston to Seattle, so about a 45 miles. And then we have all different industries in our program, from manufacturing to tech industry to healthcare to retail to financial institutions to government to education. So everybody can vanpool. So it works for all different shifts, whether it's swing shift, a first shift, nursing shift. So we vanpooling works for a lot of different sectors. So then just basically the vanpool operates with 5 people. The cost is similar to a monthly bus pass. And then we also mentioned that we have a vanshare program. So that's basically a first class connection to other forms of public transportation. So if you're connecting to the ferry or the train and you just need that last connection to your work site, vanshare is another option that the county offers. And the way to find out about all of these options is rideshareonline.com. It's a ride matching tool. And then benefits to the employees. We've heard from a lot of people that started a vanpool that they love it. They wish they would have done it sooner. It saved a lot of time. So really our main benefits are saving time, less stress. They're happier getting to work. The tolls are waived for most of the vanpools on 520 and 405. A lot of our customers say that they enjoy being in the van because it's a social aspect. They meet new people. I actually had a van where they started, there's a lot of different vans. They start socializing outside of your commute. So we had one group where they used to volunteer at the food bank. We have other groups that they get together at Christmas time, do happy hour or something. But all different social aspects. And then employer benefits for you to offer to your employees. You're going to have happier employees because they're going to be less stressed coming to work. It's going to help you reduce the demand for parking and actually maximize the parking that you do have because you'll have more people in the van. And it'll help you reduce the carbon footprint and your sustainability efforts. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Next up, we continue on with Rideshare. In 20+ commute production companies provide shuttles for employees. We have many different options of what a shuttle can look like. It can be small, it can be a huge bus. The various sizes really impact the number of employees who can serve the shuttles. I'd like to welcome Rideshare to the panel and give a brief presentation.
Thank you. Chris Jones, food driver. Been with the company for 9 years. Rideshare started back in 1988, actually, as a drunk driving service. And the hook to it was that we would come pick you up and in your car and bring you in your car to wherever you were going. And that was pretty creative, I think, in 1988. But that creativity has kind of never gone us. The company's evolved over the years, gone different directions. And in 2009, 2010, we really got focused on commuter transportation. We started serving to mostly larger corporations and private companies who wanted to offer shuttle service to their employees. So we're essentially a bus company, but we're very specialized in the commuting space. Our headquarters is in San Francisco Bay, but we serve Seattle, Oakland, Los Angeles, Denver, Austin. We do a lot of the same type of programs. Very innovative thinking. We like to complement our core services, the drivers in the vehicle, but we complement our service with technology, mobile applications, enhance the rider experience.
onboard Wi-Fi for longer trips, typically over 30 minutes. And we can do custom configurations of the bus to like a mobile office back. So we do typically inter-campus, last mile residential bus, on-demand systems, depending on the campus environment. Nike is one of the campuses that's very sprawled out, so we have circulator buses that run on fixed routes, but we also have an on-demand program too with an Uber-like application. But then we also do long-haul residential bus service where we're bringing people in from outside neighborhoods to the final campus. And we take a very consultative approach. We want to understand what is your objective of this shuttle. What are you trying to do? Is it simply to get people from point A to point B? Is it a recruiting tool, a retention tool? As you know, cities get more expensive, people move farther and farther away, and then much worse. That allows companies they offer a shuttle service like this to be able to access these people, talented people, farther and farther away. So, yeah, I mentioned a few of these, but these are just kind of the key service offerings. At high level planning and strategy for the shuttle program. We obviously staffing the drivers is a core component of what we do. We have a huge range of fleet options from traditional fuel vehicles to electric vehicles, technology and Wi-Fi. We even have shared pay applications. Most of our companies are employers who just run the show for their employees only. But we're certainly open to a share situation and even a shared pay where employees pay a piece and the employer pays a piece. Split the bill. And then on the back end, we collect a lot of data with software applications that have do a lot of analysis to make sure that the system is healthy. We're looking at routes saying, okay, road ridership's dropping on this one. What's happening? Why is that? We allocate the population data, determine where the clusters are, where people are about themselves. And that's the goal. That's kind of what we're all trying to do. And we take this to heart. We want to make this a better place. That's how we try to get some work.
Continuing the Rideshare, 3+ carpool services in the Seattle market. We have Waze Carpool Scoop in Rideshare Online earlier. They provide flexibility to employees and they reduce the cost of commuting by car. It's a relatively new service in the Seattle market, and very few commuter production companies offer this or offer corporate accounts related to these services. On-demand carpooling is an attractive way for many commuters to get to work. And we welcome Waze Carpool to the table today to tell us about how they're filling empty seats and on a mission to solve congestion.
Hey guys, I'm Steve Lumshap from Waze Carpool. So how many in the room are familiar with Waze? Great, everybody was there. How many use Waze? How many have heard of Waze Carpool? Okay, great. So we've had some awareness going on. People who actually tried it. All right, so you, it's good. I think the way that this mission has evolved is we started with sort of an online community, helping people get around and outsmart traffic by contributing, understanding traffic, accidents, potholes, etc. And we think that the next sort of logical evolution here is for moving past outsmarting traffic and ending it altogether. How do you? I think our so our new mission statement is to change the way people move around with everyday access. So I think that carpooling is really sort of a logical way of violation, and that's where it was. So everyone's been in this situation. You're sitting in gridlock traffic. And you know, you look at it's easy to sort of like have some animosity towards it on the road, but then you look at the seat next to you, right? So everyone here is driven by themselves and is technically from this problem at times. And so we want to we recognize that there are all of these extra seats that we need to fill, and that's exactly what this represents. Let's go to the next slide. That's okay. So how are we doing that? Basically, we're taking common routes to basically pair people up. So you put your home and your work destination into carpool, and then based on what your riders, then we can pair you up based on what the top of this route is. And that's happening in real time, right? So we're understanding what the traffic looks like. So similar slide to the one we just saw. You know, this is 60 people driving to work by themselves. This is what 60 people driving to work looks like. So I think firmly believe that we can get people to cooperate and pair up and solve this. So a lot of people, when they first encounter this car, will ask, so is this Lyft? Is this Uber? What's the difference? There's a few key differences. One, drivers are professional or not professional. They're not making doing this. They're wazers, they're regular people. Next, we're sharing travel costs here. So there will never be a trip that is over 54 cents a mile. That's the federal dollars rideshare. Okay? So, you know, as a rider, you're never going to pay more than $50 for a trip. This is a really good way to be awesome. As a driver, you make a few extra bucks to cover expenses like gas, insurance, etc. So that's, I think, the best way to look there. These are the best routes that are happening. We're not putting additional cars on the road to get people around. Cars off 3 times in carpools as a direct car. So we're connecting people based on these things that are already happening without necessarily. It's for the front seat. There's a double meaning here. One, you're sitting in the front, you're having a conversation, you're reading something. I think that's a really important aspect. So technology, I think, is pulling this apart for a long time. This is an opportunity to get closer, to meet people who are living there, and to help. The other piece is that you're actually scoring a front seat. So we're giving a rating of that front seat. To help ensure everyone else who could show up has the experience. And then lastly, know your co-pilot in advance. This is, I think, the key sort of security point that we built in the app. You go through and you see any monthly confession. So what the reviews look like, you can see exactly friends on Facebook, sort of take a look at their profiles and understand before you decide to get right. It's not a point. So what's in it for a reason? Trusted community. Just it's a little bit. These are people that are in the community already, and just trying to let's connect. Let's get operating together. We're saving time, right? HOV lanes are a big thing in order to use them. A lot of people don't know who's going in and going already. This app is designed to do that. Once you have that information, you're ready to carpool on a basis. This is not a hitchhiking service, it's a carpooling service. So we expect that you really want to consider how you get that experience. Saving money, and I talked about this a little bit earlier. As a driver, you can make over $500 per week. Your take significant amounts of I think most people generally find that they're spending similar amounts to what they and they're carpooling. Helping the environment, let's save the trees, let's reduce taking the car that's that. And let's end traffic altogether. That's I think solve that problem. So how can you help? I think from an employer perspective, we need to get in front of this as possible. So we have programs that we designed to help with that process. As put subsidy programs together to incentivize try to service all sorts of sports package, willing to try all sorts of different things. This is a brand new service, and ultimately we're still trying to figure out exactly what works best. That's what we're trying. We welcome anyone willing and everyone to have a conversation with us. Something custom. So that includes all the other sort of partners as well. Talk to collaborate with other mobility providers to sort of offer first mile, last mile, carpool to cover the substantial. And that is it. If you want to get in touch with me, there's my email, Michelle@google.com, wherever it works.
How are folks feeling on this mobility and speed of dating? Yeah. All right. Next up on the docket, we've got free floating mobility options. 25% of future production companies support employees using these options, anywhere from carshare to the bikeshare around the city. Anything that's kind of a free floating mobility option, we're kind of part of there. These services remove the need for a company to need to store and maintain a company fleet. Employees don't need to bring their own car when they get a car share or bike share. Also, decrease the impact of needing that secure bike parking in your building with bike share. And companies and properties increasingly designate parking in their building for car shares. Let's welcome Cargo to the table today to talk about how they're improving commuters around the city and increasing employer satisfaction.
Cargo. Thank you for being here. Out of curiosity, do I have any Cargo members of the company? Woo! So hopefully everyone will be familiar. We're a car sharing service. So what that means is, as a member, you have 750 vehicles all over the city of Seattle streets. We refer to that more commonly as the home area. With our one-way model, you have the option to end your trip once you reach your destination in the home area, or you can keep the keys if you want to keep the rental going.
In a legal space.
In a legal space, and I'll get into that. This is what the rental experience generally looks like. So if I want a car, all I do is launch the app. It will locate me. Each it's a vehicle, and it will always be a Mercedes-Benz GLA or CLA for Seattle. You have the option to reserve for 30 minutes. Those are free to make, miss, or cancel. Then you would choose a package, which depends on the duration of your trip, from per minute rate, hourly, to daily. And then after that, you have a security PIN, which you create upon signing up. The app is how you unlock the vehicle. The keys are already in there. Once you unlock the vehicle, you can go. And as Chris mentioned, when you want to end your trip, you want to find legal street parking. So that you can't turn into a bus lane, a carpool lane. Please, no 30-minute truck loading zones. Yeah, literally out over here.
We have designated parking on city streets. We also have designated parking downtown at certain arcades, so that you can pretty simple way for you to end your trip. You know, you can car home and then bring a car share.
Yeah. Some things to note about our service: we offer airport connections in some of our cities, including Seattle. So I can take a car to go to the Wally Park Premier Garage for $5, and my trip in the shuttle is a 5-minute ride to and from the airline. That model is not the same for every single city, but it is for Seattle. As Chris mentioned, we also have reserved parking, including Northgate Park and Ride, where you can use this for first and last mile solution. Take transit into Seattle and grab a car to go when you need to run an errand during the day, or it's just easier to get to your destination with the vehicle.
At the end of the day, a bus connection or two bus connections may not be the most convenient. So if you have a car to go direct to the train, we're not in this to compete with transit. We're here to supplement and help together. So we're just stop.
Yeah. Another example is we have reserved parking next to your doubling station. If your trip often looks like on-street and off-street parking. And fun fact is that UC Berkeley conducted a study on car sharing and found that each personal vehicle can remove up to 11 personal vehicles off the street.
That's a huge suggestion.
Yeah. And again, there are no overhead costs. With the service, we cover fuel, street parking. So if you end a trip downtown, you don't have to pay the meter. We also cover insurance. More about us. Having a business account, we can help reduce or eliminate costs of maintaining an internal fleet program, administration, maintaining the vehicles themselves.
Some things that we offer for businesses is we can make it so we can load credit lines here to your staff's existing credit account. So you can prepay those minutes. You can set up so you choose to pay for the entire trip, so we can invoice you again a month. We can have a corporate credit card to your profile, so it's simple expense based, basically saving time and money. Make it really easy for you to share the car from a business perspective, employer perspective, and personal.
And lastly, from the administrative side of things, yes, you're billed monthly, but you have online access to like check activity or account information, manage your drivers.
Similar service is Pogo is reached out, offering different fleets of vehicles and a few different nuances and niches that they provide as well. They're from Tim and Mike about home service, providing another great option for Tim.
Howdy, everyone. My name is Tim. I'm working for Reach Now here in Seattle, doing marketing and business development. So Reach Now launched and is headquartered in Seattle in April 2016. Our core product is free-floating car sharing, not unlike what the service that Cargo provides. Where cars float around the city, you usually have to find them, hop in, and you can do one-way trips. However, we were founded on the principle of being a mobility services company, so we're always looking for different ways to use our assets and that investigate low car and no car living. And so as of last year, we started piloting Rideshare in the same app. So with the Reach Now app, you can either hail a car to come pick you up, or you can find a car to drive yourself somewhere. We also provide fleet services as well. And soon we've announced that we'll be launching a reserve product as well, not unlike a sort of townless car rental option. So we have 700 BMW Minis and electric BMW i vehicles in Seattle. And so as far as business development goes and partnerships, we do take a consultative approach as well as some of the other folks here. So I thought I'd just kind of highlight a couple of the larger partnerships we've done. Truly, when we look at partnerships, we sit down and figure out what the goal is for your transportation needs for your company, private or public business, and then we sort of see what tools on our end we can use to help you achieve those goals. One of the nice things is too that here in Seattle, we do have our own development team and product team to be headquartered here, so it really can be a full service end-to-end solution depending on what we're looking for. One of our largest partnerships to date is actually in Portland. It's the Intel campus. Portland is kind of situated almost opposite of Seattle in the sense that a lot of the tech and larger firms are on the west side of the city as opposed to the east side of the city. But Intel is 25,000 people. They've got 5 major campuses sort of scattered across the west side, outside of our home area. So we sat down with them, and they really want to find ways to encourage active transportation and better solutions for folks that are taking a bus or a bike to get in between campuses and from transit to the campuses themselves. And so we were able to open up our home area on all 5 of the campuses. We worked with the city of Hillsborough to provide service to the transit station out there. The program is coming up on about a year old, just over a year old since we launched the first pilot. And it's been a great success. We've seen a lot of activity, especially between the sort of transit hub and the scope of the different campuses. We do have airport service as well here in Seattle and in Portland. The West Edge is an example of the police program that we've done. So West Edge is a high-end apartment complex on Second and Pines. Yes, or Pike. So they were looking for, they don't have enough parking for all the apartments they have there, so they were looking for some dedicated cars that would only be available to their residents. So we were able to work with them to start a program where they have either 2 cars. It's more of a station-based model for this particular use case. So when a member who lives in West Edge opens up their app, they can see all of our cars in service. They can hail a car to come pick them up, or they can choose the car that's in the garage to go to the grocery store and then come back to the apartment complex. In addition to that, I'll close on a couple of the sort of philanthropic things that we've done. So we did a year-long partnership with New Beginnings, which is the nonprofit folks in domestic violence situations. So we were able to partner with them to find ways to help get their advocates to those people that need them most, and help get the people that utilize their services out of some pretty sticky situations, unfortunate situations, as it were. And so one of the nice things about our cars, them being branded sort of anonymous cars, it was easier for advocates now to feel safer to use a sort of anonymous car as opposed to their own car, et cetera, et cetera. We're coming up on April with a year for that program as well. It's also been a great success too. But yeah, so outside of that, we really are looking at different ways we can use our assets to help you reach your goals for transportation. And if any of these sound interesting, you can sit down and find them myself. Do anything you want to do?
Yeah, we also are trying to support transit connection. We do have dedicated car share parking at North Gate at the light rail station, as well as Capitol Health by the light rail station, as well as Pacific Science Center, launched in partnership with their entire garage, garage association. And so during this period of maximum constraints, when parking downtown is really tough, being able to either get out of the fray on a light rail or express bus and catch a car out there and you try to north or south of the city a lot faster than trying to sit in traffic the entire way, as well as landing into the city, which knows that there's a big overblock. Thank you.
Next up on the docket, rolling in is Gabriel.
I didn't bring slides, so I figured I should make it interesting. It's going to be memorable slides. So yeah, this is not a bike, but I'm Gabriel and I'm from Lyme, which is also called Limebike. How many of you have ridden one here or elsewhere? Anybody here done a road trip to Tacoma to ride a scooter? Okay, we've been hearing of people going down to Tacoma specifically to ride that thing. So if you've ridden, which number of you have, you kind of know what our service is, but we are the green bikes that are parked all over Seattle. To give a little context, we started as a company in January of last year. We launched our first market in June of last year. Seattle was our 4th market anywhere at all ever. We're now well over 100 markets. We just launched New Zealand earlier this week, and I don't know how many countries in Europe, but 4 continents now represented. So the cool thing is, if you're a rider of Limebike in our app, you are not in all of those places. How that ties to CTR and local ridership to and from work and first last mile is that a lot of our ridership does take place, in fact, to get to and from transit. So we've looked at the average ridership in Seattle, and the average is right around a mile and a half, depending on the bike or the e-bike you're choosing. So for a lot of people, this is how I get to and from the C line, the D line, the E line, the whatever bus that I'm trying to get to and from Morristown Transit. So we've been working with the transit providers since the beginning on the fact that we're coming here. We've also worked with businesses since the beginning. So some of you have actually started with us at the beginning by being a business partner from the get-go. A lot of you perhaps haven't, and we'd love to talk to you about sort of what that could look like. But short version is we'd love to give your employees opportunities to use our service during the day or around town, go to and from a meeting, or to get to and from transit, or to have as a backup plan. So you can take the bus knowing if I need something during the day, I can grab this and go there. And I figured I didn't want to use too much time talking. So since I'm here and you're here, do you have any questions about Lyme or how this could serve in the 3-minute window I've got?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Any questions quickly? All right, perfect. That was easy. Maybe a little more time. Okay, thank you. Dave will be here with the 2 scooters. If you want to lift them, scooters aren't here. They are in Tacoma. Sorry. They are in Spokane. They are in Portland. They're in other places. But we'd love to have you on our bikes.
around Seattle. And wouldn't it be great if they could all be on the same app? Wouldn't it be great? And let you know that Migo is working to put all of them on the same app, which is live, and you're able to download it right now to see where the closest car to go, where transit is, where's Lyft, where's Uber, where's the taxi, where's the bikes, all on the same app. Please welcome kids from Migo.
I need to come up here. Thank you very much, Olivia. Good afternoon, everyone. Can I just first get a show of hands? How many of you before today have actually heard of Migo? Pretty good. But many of you haven't, that's okay. We're just getting started in many ways. And part of what I want to do is introduce you to Migo and who we are. My name is Vince Chang. I run product analytics for the company. And I want to start by recognizing, as Olivia mentioned, and everyone here who came before talked about all the different services that are now showing up. Some have been around a while, some are relatively new, some are type of modes that you've been in before, some are in some ways are new types of transportation that you've seen. But more and more, these types of choices are proliferating. In fact, not just here in Seattle, but really across the country and across the world. We've seen many cities have potentially 10 or more ways for you to find a way to get around via smartphone. And this number is really only increasing. It's giving many of you more and more choices and alternatives to driving your own personal vehicle to get around. It could be commuting to and from work, which is obviously a big part of what we're talking about here. But it could be in lots of other ways in which you may be traveling on business. You may have lots of other scenarios in your life around wanting to get from any place A to any place B. I want to start with a little bit of context, just in terms of the mission of the company. Migo's really aimed at two different sort of stakeholders. One is about really helping riders find and discover all of the choices around them. So learning, discovering, and using as many of these services that's right for them in that moment. Really empowering them to make choices, again, that's relevant to that particular trip and situation. For ride providers, some of which have spoken here, many of which obviously, with the number of them, are fully represented here, it's about helping them find and get new customers. Now, for a lot of them, the way to do that is to tell their story and to have someone get and use their service as quickly as possible. Because for many of you, your service will speak for itself. And if you spend your time building your business and your service, what you want to do is get customers in to try it and see for themselves and have that service shine. Just a little bit of context about us. The company is about 2 years old. We are a tech startup that's based right here in Seattle. So this has been our home market. And when we started over a year ago, we started testing with several, and many folks like you, iterating and trying to improve a product before we felt like we had a good enough product to get out of the market. Now, as Lydia mentioned, we actually have been in market with an iPhone version about a year. And ever since then, we've been iterating and improving it, getting feedback from you, and helping helping to make the product better. And then in the product, as Lydia mentioned, you can see essentially the ride services around you. We help by showing information like what the closest pickup time is, what prices are, because obviously that's a big relevant factor when it comes to customers making decisions. But it's not just that too. It's helping them experience you of rides with ride providers. Sometimes directly in the app, which makes the first use that much easier, and sometimes we're linking onto your app. Just depends upon how far we've gone in terms of some of the integration that we've done. And for ride providers, again, we don't run a ride service. It's about trying to get more customers for you to really experience your service. And we've been at this now for about a year. We're still very much in growth mode. We operate currently in the US and Canada, but we very much have aspirations to grow. We really operate, I got this question a little before the session started, really wherever our ride partners are. So the more ride partners and choices, and the more customers are recognizing and seeing what choices where they can get around, value for product can get that much more apparent. As I mentioned, we're just getting started. We are a tech startup here in Seattle. We raised our Series A a couple of months ago with about $9 million to help grow the product and the team. We're working on more and more ride partner integrations.
We're working on an Android version. That means we have an iPhone version that's currently live and an Android version that's in the works. And just other improvements in terms of making sure that customers can use it and find the rides that they need. If you have time later on, I'm happy to show and demo a bit for any of you who are interested in the products. And with that, I hope I can spend a little time with you again, showing a bit about what we are and hopefully how we can help you. Thank you.
So I don't know if many of you are aware about the impact that a great locker room, a great driving rack made for a bike figure. But we do know that 100% of top Seattle bike companies are using safe cycling infrastructure. And we brought in Bikes Make Life Better today to tell you about how they can help you improve your facilities and encourage biking just by secure bike parking, amazing facilities, and kind of the physical way to incentivize a commuter to use my bike. Please welcome Dave from Bike.
Hey, my name is David, and my goal tonight is to say the word bike at least 50 times in the next 5 minutes. I encourage you, if you want, to actually count them and let me know how many I get to. So we'll start with raise your hand if you've ever owned a bike. Great. Raise your hand if you've ever used a bike for part or all of the commute at any point. Wonderful. Raise your hand if you've had a bike sitting or just say hanging in your garage for at least 6 months at one point in your life. Bikes are aspirational. I think a lot of people have bikes hanging in their garage because they want to use it. They see all the value of having a bike and using a bike. And if we can make biking easy, if we can have the infrastructure, which was already mentioned, and then the infrastructure facilities, amenities, benefits, and incentives, you've got a program now that can have a bike culture. You know, I talked to Heidi actually at Tableau about the bike culture and how Tableau has that, and that there is an expectation that people who bike to work are going to have the best facilities, that they're going to be able to shower and get to work the way they need to. So that's really what we're all about, and I'm going to start by why bikes are so important for business. So if we can go back. Those two things, I think, if you go away with nothing else, I'm hoping you go away with those two sentences. Bikes are good business, and bikes make life better. And I absolutely believe that bikes make life better. They're good for business. Obviously, it's a commute option that's not SOP, that's the obvious. And so it frees up traffic reduction, good for the environment, all the things that you've heard tonight and tonight. It's also a wellness program in and of itself. And wellness programs are kind of interesting because there's a lot of debate about whether wellness programs actually work. A lot of people will start on a wellness program and then there's not a lot of follow-through. So kind of have immediate participation and then it goes down. With bikes, if you make an environment for people to bike to work on a regular basis, they'll just keep doing it. And it's the wellness program feeding itself. Engagement tool, it's a huge engagement tool. I've already talked about it. Well, everybody here, almost everybody has ridden a bike. And when you ride a bike, there's a real enjoyment to that. And we've got a couple of e-bikes companies represented here tonight. And I'll tell you, I've been on e-bikes. They're even more fun. And I think there's going to be a real revolution with more people biking as we get more infrastructure, we get more options, and we get better amenities and facilities. So finally, I think it's good for business as a recruiting tool. And I've actually seen this happen. I've seen hospitals in the east part of the county who actually put in their ad for doctors that we have excellent bike facilities. Bring your bike to work, I read in one ad. So it's actually a good recruiting tool as well. Where are we at with biking? Well, thanks to Commute Seattle, we know that we're about 3% citywide. But we also know that there are many companies that are between 10 and 12%, and some that are even higher. How does that happen? There's two things. One was already mentioned, the infrastructure. If you're on a major trail, you really have to have bike. absolutely no reason for your company to not have a bike program on the trail. Because when you look at someone like Children's Hospital, they've got, over 12% of their folks are biking to work, and they're almost all coming on. So, and they actually did a heat map to show this. The other piece, so if you have infrastructure, that's the number one issue. The other piece then is to encourage and support your bicyclists. So now we can go to the next one. End of trip bike facilities, probably the most important piece, because if you get to work all sweaty, you got to do something about it. You got to also put your bike somewhere, you got to put your clothes somewhere, and hopefully dry your clothes. Got some excellent amenities at Facebook, by the way, in Seattle. And so we, in fact, we're able to organize a tour if anybody wants to go see Facebook Seattle facilities and it shows like kind of a world-class bike in a nutshell. So if you've got these things in place, you can get your commutership up to like 10 to 12%. And that's a real dent when you're trying to get your SOB rates down. So what do we do about it? Well, Bikes Make Life Better is one of the few companies out there that is all about bikes. We can basically do or know anything there is to get more people to bike. So that could be end-of-trip facilities, that could be amenities, that could be a program around how to tie into Bike Everywhere Month, how to tie into Luum as a platform, or other platforms. There's plenty of platforms. How to organize around using bikeshare services. We can even do fleets for those companies that want to have their own. So in a nutshell, bikes, bikes, bikes. And if you want to know about bikes, come to Bikes Make Life Better.
We're well into the program, and we have about 2 vendors left, I believe. And next up, we're going to talk about the vendor platforms. Employee transportation coordinators at those large businesses refer to those as a one-stop shop. There are many products out there. Some of them are modular, others are holistic and all-encompassing. They track employee commute trips. They track how you're getting to work. They run promotional campaigns and provide alerts. They do carpool and vehicle matching. They do shuttle management. They can do new employee onboarding, training, and they do parking management and payment. Commutify, Rideshare, and Luum are all examples of these commute management platforms. And today we have Luum in the room to tell us more about how they are helping employee transportation coordinators and companies around the city to help reduce the admin and management programs. There's Jared, welcome to click. I know you have.
Hi, I'm Kelly. First of all, thank you all for making it this far into the program. I'm glad you're also here and awake. I'm from Luum. We are a technology platform, and we are born and raised here in Seattle, which was a fantastic place to grow up because of all the progressive regulations that really helped employers, which is who we work with, take a chance on Luum. And it turns out when you offer commute as a benefit, it really works. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about technology and policy for behavior change and what we do at Luum to help employers offer commute as a benefit. First and foremost, this is why we work with employers. They want to serve their mission. They don't want to serve cars, but more and more they found themselves in the business of serving cars. And you know this, but parking demand is high, it's expensive. We've heard others say that today. So we're trying to help them shift their focus onto commute as a benefit. And we really believe at Luum that commute as a benefit is the new healthcare as a benefit that employers need to provide. And we're working really hard to push this message, because you think about it, if you only offer healthcare benefits to your 5% of your most healthy employees, that's great, and they're going to continue to be healthy, but you're not really going to change behaviors and make the rest of your employees healthier. So when you think about commute as a benefit, we want it to be offered to all of your employees equally and to reach those employees, even those who drive alone every day to work. And that's where really the levers for behavior change come in, rather than just offering is commute benefits, but offering actually, commute incentives, but actually offering disincentives as well. So a lot of these business goals have been mentioned today, but this is why we work with businesses and why they partner with us to manage their commute benefits. First and foremost, they really want to improve the employee experience and offer their employees flexible options. Today, we've heard from so many amazing mobility providers, and many of whom we integrate with and bring together. Thank you to those in this room who we already do partner with. And that's kind of the power of Luum. One of our customers described us as the epicenter. And he meant that as the epicenter of data, where all of his employees and all of these different third-party carpool and bike and other apps can come together and be integrated, and the admin, the ETC, can have all this data, see how their employees are getting to work. So it's about improving the employee experience. It's about attracting and retaining the top talent. Employees are starting to expect this. Tech companies realize they need to care about how their employees get to work, not just when they're in the door. It's about reducing parking demand and better utilizing those parking spaces that you do have. It's about using all the data and tools to streamline administrative workflows. So we do a lot with parking management and other manual processes that take a lot of time. And we'd rather have those administrators using that time that they used to spend processing parking applications to send out communications, craft incentives, and actually move the lever for behavior change. And then finally, of course, to meet sustainability goals, to be a good neighbor, to promote the community health in the region. What does Luum do? First and foremost, Luum gets you data on how your employees are commuting. We are the most integrated enterprise-grade platform out there. And like I said, bringing in all these third-party mobility providers for the access to their data as it relates to your employees, but also integrating with your human resources, your payroll, your parking system, your shuttle system, so that everything is aggregated in one place, so you know how every individual employee is getting to work, and therefore you know who to target with incentives for behavior change. And second, we help you manage. This is that administration process. We help you manage your programs through transit pass management, parking application, parking wait list, parking charging if you want to do that, as well as other incentives, so that finally you can free up more time to influence how your employees are getting to work through targeted rewards, incentives, disincentives, as I mentioned, and just offering them those flexible daily choices that we have every day in our lives. And I know I have all sorts of these apps on my phone to get around, and I want to be able to use those to get to work. And even better, I'd love it if my employer would incentivize that by subsidizing it. So in Washington State right now, Luum partners with 17 employers, which is nearly 250,000 employees whose commutes we get to influence. It's exciting. To date, we've had almost 9 million alternative trip logs in our app, almost 16 million parking events that we've reported, 1.8 million shuttle events, and nearly 15 million pounds of CO2 avoided. And what everybody's talking about and why Commute Seattle brought us together today is the period of maximum constraint. Coming to you in January 2019. All of our partners are talking about it. They're worried about it, but also what we're pushing them to do, and actually I'm secretly really excited about it, because we think of it as period of maximum influence. This is the time, this is the break in the old habits. This is when they're going to be forced to think in a new way, to commute in a new way. And hopefully you can use your timing then and use all the tools in Luum, the communications, the incentives and disincentives to say, hey, get in a vanpool. Hey, let's try do a carpool now. Let's compete with your peers in Luum. And let's start trying out some new commute modes so you're not stuck in the old habit of driving alone. So that's kind of our hope. And if you want to come talk to us, Marco and I are both here. And now, sitting right in front and looking right over you. Yeah, so thank you so much.
I really need my car. And you may have a number of excuses. I've got kids. Check out Pogo rides. I need to run errands after work. Company shares their bikes. What about an emergency? We've got the guaranteed ride home program. Driving is just quicker for me. Find a carpool buddy. Taking the bus is expensive. We've got working business in the room to talk about how much make it cheaper for you and employees. Riding the train takes forever. Try a multimodal commute. I can't get sweaty on my way to the office. Advocate for showers and walkers. All are often excuses that we hear from employee transportation coordinators, from ourselves, about why we don't take commute options. But we do have one member in the room today to tell us about how we can help get remove that excuse of I've got kids, which is a very common theme that we hear from folks. The afternoon peak time is often due to congestion of school vehicles and running your kids from sport activities to different after-school activities that they may have. And today we'd like to welcome Pogo Rides to tell about how school pulling can help remove that one excuse from the
Thank you for having me. I'll be quick. I know we're at the end of our time today. So I founded staff in Pogo 3 years ago. I think Pogo Limebike. And I founded it. I was a big fan of alternative ways of getting around. I have an entire panel on my smartphone. I've tried almost all of your services out there that are consumer facing. And I became a mom about almost 7 years ago. And I was amazed that there was a simple app that could help me get my kids ready. So full-time job, traveling a lot, and in my life, I have about 35 rides per week that I manage on behalf of my two young children. So there are 35 rides that I shouldn't be driving for my whole family, or my husband, or the Italian people that we have helping us. Those are rides that should be shared. And so this is maybe not what you typically think of when you think of the term production, but as Olivia said, we know that the last sort of holdout in their SUV is typically the parent, and you get 245 to make pickup. So I'd like to just share a little bit about why you should care about working parents today. So I'm a big fan of data, and you guys at Seattle put together some incredible data, and it's really remarkable the share shift that we've seen in mode between takeoff vehicles and primarily transit and other modes over the last few years. So congratulations to all the employer groups that are here today and to keep Seattle for an incredible job on that. I think it's probably one of the leading impacts we've seen in the nation. But we still have about 25% of people driving alone or with their children, which is kind of funny because you're not. But we believe that's kind of the final frontier. The city of Seattle said that when you're sitting in rush hour in the afternoon, if you look around, 1 in 4 people are commuting with their kids. So it's a significant number of people that are hanging on to that vehicle in order to drive their kids to and from school and extracurricular activities. And that's because parents have pretty unique needs. They're very time sensitive. When Jimmy's sitting in front of the school at 3 o'clock, he's either on time. And so they also feel sort of anxious about not having accessibility to a vehicle without a reliable ride home. So we believe in order to sort of move the needle there on the number of people that are riding alone, it's critical to focus on the needs of working parents. It's a big deal for your employees. So it's stressful, more stressful than filing their taxes, according to a lot of working parents. And it also does have a hit on productivity. So, it's hard to say for that 4:30, 5 o'clock meeting when you've got to be across the town to get your soccer. But it ends up being a gender equity issue, as well as an employee benefit, quality of life, where you take into consideration the needs of people who are juggling in essence of, sort of a part-time job when it comes to trying to get their kids to all of the activities. So how it works, I think you can think about it, I won't go into all of the details, but you can think about it a lot like ways carpool or scoot, but with this transportation. So you put in your comment route from your home to your school, and you see the matches. And so those are often people that go to your school as well. But the important thing here is that you start to see the ability and the degrees of connection with people. So maybe you share a school, you share a soccer team, or you share a place of employment. So maybe Tom from accounting, you didn't know that he was also going to a nearby school and be a very good match for you when it comes to commuting. So it's important for us that we start to get additional tentacles into how people think about trust you know, that's the most important thing for our business is trust and establishing trust between our carpoolers. They're carpooling their most precious thing in the world. So the more degrees of connection that we can establish for them in terms of how they know the people that they're carpooling with, the better. And then we help manage all of those rides on an ongoing basis. So you tell us when you can ride, when you need a ride, when you're flexible, and then we balance your carpool schedule for you on a weekly basis to help get your kids covered where they need. So I'm gonna, like I said, keep this pretty short because I know this is kind of a new concept for a lot of folks who need to be to production. But if you're interested, it's very, very easy. We set up essentially a secure link for employees at your company, and then it's easy for working parents to connect. They have kind of their own little, in some ways, support group within your company for finding other working parents and seeing where there might be overlap and routes to connect and opportunities to share the ride. So thank you very much.
So I know we're about out of time, and thank you everyone who's managed to stay and listen and learn about all the different mobility providers that we have in the room today. It's been a really exciting event for Commute Seattle here. And I just wanted to leave the room and mention that today is also action oriented, and there is a call to action. And I'm sure the employers that are in the room today have found a gap in their commuter program that they can fill with one of the mobility providers that are in the room today. It's the time to make those face-to-face connections, those follow-up consultation meetings, to see the demos, to see their products, and to see how you can implement these things in your own commuter programs. And this is just the contact information for today's event with Commute Seattle contact staff. If you'd like contact information for all the vendors, I'm your girl there. I can connect you with all of those folks. And if you're concerned about the viaduct, don't worry. We have another event coming up on kind of question and answer with a number of agencies around the city, Washington State Department of Transportation, Seattle Department of Transportation, and Metro, as well as Commute Seattle staff. So there'll be a short presentation for an hour, followed up by Q&A. So now's the time to think about those questions and how it's going to impact your life in January. I'm going to kind of conclude the event here for now, but feel free to stay, eat whatever food's left, have some cocktails and drinks, and make those connections. And I encourage you all to swap business cards and figure out what gap you can fill in your commuter benefit program. Thanks, everyone. Oh, one last announcement. There are feedback forms on seats as well as by the door. We would love your feedback on how the event went, what we can do better next time, and how we can improve in the future. Give us some emoji smiley faces, write some notes, and there's a fishbowl on your way out to drop the forms in. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Paul. Awesome. Yeah, you too.
Know more about your business. Part of what we do is we try to I would like to know folks who are like I think
eligible in our system, that is the they're actually using it. So our biggest requirement is that. Yeah. Right. So basically, when they just Luum, we charge like every employee, but that just means if they sign up, then we'll charge. But you know, we can offer all the incentives through Luum, but up to them to log in the system and get their respective card or apply for parking. So a lot of people might not, but we use the rewards and stuff as ways to engage people to get them the app. Like sign up so that you can involve with this one. Oh, how do we do that? Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually really cool. We need to connect directly with the parking garages. About, I think, 90% of the different systems that are used in garages today. And we basically take that data on I think it's every 15 minutes, they send us data so we know who that is. It's based on your access devices. Yeah. Yeah, share. Right. Right. So we work with a real estate manager. Usually, like when you have an access device, there's a share slot. They usually segment the devices with some type of facility. So you might have a badge for like this building, but based on your facility code, like we know you're from Seattle, so they only send us that data. We don't get more. Yeah. Automatically, like there, it shows up on your commute calendar and we charge you out of your zero data. Yeah, it's based on you. They're like, most people who don't charge for parking will charge you like months. So what we find you most effective is when you start doing daily. And then some of our local van customers, like they actually do daily material market. You come between like 8 to 10, like peak hours, you pay like the highest amount that you can do. Right, and it's automatic. And there's also, if you don't park and you end up taking a taxi, you don't have to go through the computer to get like your reimbursement. It goes through. So we do like guaranteed ride home where you can request like a Lyft or Uber to go for an app and then take your ride and you're automatically, that's a free ride rather than going to the yeah, so this is our data sheet. This is just a generic business card, but it has our email at the bottom. And then these are just two of our case studies. So this is a hospital, Rideshare Hill, and then Delta County. Oh yeah. Nice. Good. Yeah, and the main thing is right now we work with employers because all of our integrations depends on like the HR industry. So that helps us determine who's eligible for what benefits. constraint. Right. Well, the recognition will definitely help. But it's still going to have to be through the plan rather than like a